Good afternoon. My name is Mark Zubrick, and welcome to the Topics of the Town. Today, I have Jim Morose,
Good to see
my
you, Mark.
friend that's volunteered to be abused here on the show. But
I'm riding shotgun for you, Mark.
your riding shotgun is right. But that's okay. I need some levity every so often. I'm too serious, I understand. But what we want to do today is that the agenda and opinions are solely by the Topics of the Town host, our guests, contributors, and commentators. So what we want to do is we want to be very independent. This is our opinion, and this is our show about what's going on in Danvers. So, subtitle for this show, and this is the second time I'm using it, is the Select Board moved forward with a resolution to address Beverly Airport issues. Outcome is a dud to the resolution that the board submitted. It has been watered down to a point where, yes, we understand there's a problem, but we, as the Board of Selectmen, really don't want to stick our neck out for the residents that are being affected. And we will talk about that a little later, and we'll go through the resolution. However, I have also been told that my quotes have had an impact on individuals. I've had a response from some individuals that this quote especially is relevant to what's going on here in Danvers and at Beverly Airport and in the state legislature. No conflict can be solved so long as all parties are convinced they are right. Solution is possible only when at least one party begins to consider how he or she might be wrong. The comments that I received back is that it is very appropriate to what's happening with some of the issues in our town, especially in regard to the Beverly Airport. But the thing is, the individual did not want to be one party that begins to consider how she or he may be wrong. So it's all one-sided.
Well, I mean, actually, this is the essence of the polarization of America. I mean, so it started, on the federal level, nationally, statewide. Now it's just right here in town. People are stuck in their ruts, and they're not going to listen to the other side. Whereas, again, if I said it once, I said it a million times. We hear the woke, liberal, socialist narrative 24 hours a day, 7 days a week of why conservatives are evil and while the liberals, Democrats are right, and there's no compromise. There is none. No one's listening. But we know the other side because we listen to it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They have no clue what our side is because they don't even listen. Have you ever had someone listen to you?
This is the problem that I'm having with the airport commissioners in Beverly.
Yeah.
They will sit there, open up their mouth and their ears, listen to what's being said, and just ignore it.
Exactly.
So the last meeting, which was held Monday, this past Monday, I went as a result of I skipped the last 2 months worth of meetings because I got so disgusted with what was going on, is that I went and I basically said to them, what have you done for the residents that have made citizens petitions to your board And over the last 9 to 12 months, you have listened to the petitions. I understand that. However, you haven't done a damn thing about it. You haven't even addressed it in regards to whether it's applicable or not applicable, or whether we should send the citizen petition off to the drawing board and come back when you're ready. And the thing is, they don't want to address these issues because they don't want to do anything that will infringe on their business practices at the airport. And all that Mayor Cahill and the current Board of Commissioners are interested in is expanding the airport and the functions that are being done.
Well, actually, when you think about it, it's kind of funny between Danvers and Beverly and just any town, Wenham, that touches the Beverly Airport and that's in the affected area, are being forced by the state, but mandated to increase your population density and building density with the MBTA zoning, and you got to where we only had 4 units per acre, now we can have up to 36 units per acre with a special permit, and so they want to build the density, and so now you got an airport in the middle of that, so they want to build. You can't do both. You
That's
can't
right.
have enough open space to have an airport and then build all this stuff. You just can't. It just doesn't make sense.
It's in the proximity of the flight paths. I have had an experience this last
Yep.
holiday weekend.
Right.
I was at my
Right.
daughter's house, and she lives right behind the high school football field, and we were sitting there. All of a sudden, a white, big, fat jet starts taking off over the highway, over the high school.
Yeah.
Right directly over the high school, which is the path over her house as well. They don't care. And one of these days, we've had many accidents that have happened over in the adjacent communities or in our own community.
Right.
We had a flight that went down on
in Woodvale.
Alfonso Drive, and 2 people got killed. Luckily, there was nobody on the ground that got hurt.
Exactly.
So,
But when
you
we
know,
increase our density in our building areas,
well, we already have that. So that leads me to my next subject, which is really a report on the town meeting. And I can't resist to say this, but in 30 minutes, the town meeting spent and authorized spending $150 million of our taxes, our real estate taxes, our income taxes to the state, our meals taxes, everything that goes into that big bucket. 30 minutes, no problem. No discussion. Nobody cares. So, but we have had again, another appeal to the town meeting. Jim and I have filed citizens petitions. Citizens petitions took much longer, and we're defeated by the Board of Selectmen. Some were on the
no,
verge.
one of them passed at the Board of Selectmen. They passed one of them.
Okay,
Out of the 3, they
That-
passed one.
that's the one to study things.
Yeah, just to.
That's all they ever do is study.
It was such a no-brainer. It was such a no. It was like you couldn't get any more mundane, and they, we can't do that.
So it's and we're defeated because the proposals would shake up the establishment and the state mandates. We have to obey the state. That's exact. Our legislators, our senator and our representative should be taken out of this town on a rail with some tar and feathers. because they have been allowing the state legislature to dictate to us how many units can we have per square foot, per square, well, acre, per acre.
Yeah, per acre.
Per acre.
Per acre.
So, this is another extension of the imposition by the state legislature of their idea of what this town should be. This town has lost its character.
I want you to understand, what you talked about, our representatives, it's not their fault. It's not our representatives' fault.
It's our fault.
It's because we keep sending them back. Not that you and I vote for these people, but, I haven't voted for a winner in years when it comes to Massachusetts politics. You gotta be kidding me. But
Well,
But no-
Massachusetts is unique.
Thomas Jefferson said that the biggest threat to our form of government, which that people don't even know what our form of government is, number
Right.
one, and so what he says was, our biggest threat to our form of government is an uninformed voter. And the remedy for that is education. And that's what we're trying to do. We try to educate people into, you just can't, be yes men to whatever the government says. Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. Let's do that. No, we have to question, why are we doing this? The law, the Massachusetts Constitution and the laws of this, even this, local control of the zoning is just the way it's supposed to be. The locals own what the development is for each of town zoning. And the state has no business telling us that we can go from 4 units per acre to 36 units. They can't force you. They can recommend it, but they can't force. But they're doing it because we let them. No, we need.
But
Marblehead just said no.
Right.
Other towns have said no. But Danvers, it's like, what was that movie? Thank you, sir. May I have
Jazz?
another?
Oh. Well,
Thank you, sir. May I have another?
well,
Please,
that's exactly,
yes.
we turned our, left side to the right side. The town meeting was efficient, but dull. No significant discussion or debate except to defeat the zoning proposals. Well, on Tuesday, May 27, the planning board is introduced into one of the future zoning developments at Essex and Elm Street and Danvers Dental Office development. This is the one that's going to be followed up next Tuesday, I believe, on the 22nd. And I made a point of that because when I look at it, there are so many exceptions to the current zoning that's already in place that the contractor cannot make it work except for piling on more. They're talking about 16 three-bedroom units to be built across the street from the Northeast Bank and the DCAT facility. Now, why can't we live within the zoning that has been agreed to? No, we can't because the contractor can't make enough money. So what they're doing is they're tailoring everything to the needs of the contractor. But that's what the contractors do. Many issues with density, congestion, and parking. We need a parking garage, and it should be located at the Hobart Street and Cherry Fish Market parking lot. I have talked about this thing for the last 4 or 5 shows. That is 100 spots, parking spots, that are dedicated for day employees, public parking. Mr. Parker has his own little parking lot that he has in front of his market.
And wasn't that another town meeting faux pas?
Yes, it
He
was.
was supposed to speak at that town meeting when they were talking about that parking lot, and somehow he didn't get his chance to speak because the moderator or someone just kept choo-choo that train just kept right on going.
That's right.
And
Well, the
he
thing
didn't get
is,
to say his piece.
the thing is that That parking lot has currently 100 spots, 101 spots. And it has access to the rail trail. It has access to Hobart Street right across. Downtown, they have no parking available for the Ideal Baby Shoe building because they had to go and buy a parking lot across the street by the gas station. So the suggestion has been,
I gotta say, I just gotta tell you that when I drive by there every now and then, and I see people, they're unloading their car to go in, and then they drive and park across the street, or they're lugging things, and I'm saying, this is like a
it's
city.
insanity.
There's no parking. You can't. Yeah, that's always the big thing in the cities.
Well-
You can't find a parking area near you wherever you want to go. And isn't that what Boston's famous for? Putting lawn chairs out where you shoveled.
That's only in the winter
Where,
time.
where are you going to put all the snow?
Well, wait, we haven't had that occasion yet. But the thing is, you know what? All of these people are so committed to this dense development. Well, build a 2 or 3 story parking garage right there on Hobart Street, and you have access to the rail trail. You have access to the fish market. You have access to the church. You have 300-400 spaces that can be made available, and those can be used by day business people, and at night they can be used for the restaurants that are in the location. And you will have your walking trails and to downtown to the restaurants that you've been chiming about. And the thing is, why not? And this can be a business venture for the town too, because they will definitely try to charge parking fees for that garage.
Yep.
This is what's happened all over every single community in our area.
Yep.
So, there is a need for overflow from the proposed multi-story 3-bedroom and other 1 and 2 bedroom proposed developments already built in that area. We need a 3-story, 300 car space garage on existing Hobart Street parking lot. And this is the one that they have been fighting about placing the railroad station, and they should have taken that opportunity to put something on there that would have attracted people to that area of town instead of pushing everybody down to High Street. So, electronic clickers are again an issue as to voice voting at town meeting. Town meeting members appear to be receptive, and some future action may be introduced to the select board to finally acquire the inexpensive $15,000 system, which first must be accepted by the moderator and the Board of Selectmen. So this
We're gonna need another citizen petition for this.
no, this I've
Because
already
the moderator and the selectmen say, "Oh yeah, that's a great idea. Let's make sure our votes are all counted properly." You do know that a Danvers town meeting member, Lauren, had a whole package. She presented this to the selectmen at the public open mic section, and she gave them all the information about how this works and everything else. And she had a funny little anecdote that there was a town, I forget what town it was, I don't know, Holden or some town, I'll find out. But they were taking the vote whether they should have these automated vote counters, and the moderator said, it fails, next. And then the town meeting member said, no, we want a standing count. So they had a standing count, and it passed by over 30 votes. So it's like, so the moderator, they make mistakes. And he says, I guess we do need the clickers, the moderator said. And he was a very personable guy. It was very interesting to watch because she sent the clip out, and I watched the clip. I said, wow, You know, it was the tone and the whole. If you, I'll have to post that on the Facebook, let people see it. Is it the whole tone and the personalities of the town meeting was so much different than our town meeting.
Well, the thing is, our town meeting is orchestrated so much that even the town meeting members don't have an opportunity to say anything because they're afraid of criticism, for one thing. And I've been saying that for years. So, but that's another issue. The garage is something that should be built. The $15,000 for the clickers, and those are reusable year after year.
Well, exactly.
After
It's a
year.
long-time investment.
So
Well, you can rent them.
the thing is that we don't want it because we lose control over the town meeting. Now, guess who has control over the town meeting?
Well, it's the moderator's got the gavel.
The moderator has the gavel, and the Board of Selectmen are sitting there dumb, fat, and happy.
That's right.
So, that's another thing. I'm going to get criticized for saying that.
You
but
are.
That's,
Okay. You're gonna hurt someone's feelings. But
oh,
gotta be
my
careful.
goodness. So, let's go back.
But it's okay when they hurt our feelings.
What feelings?
Well,
We don't have any feelings.
We're not allowed to have
That's
feelings.
right.
That's
We're
right.
not
I'm
allowed.
sorry. Silly me.
So, zoning issues. This is something I'd like to report because I have been active with Mr. George, the chairman of the planning board, and I've had a meeting with him. And what I wanted to do, and with your acceptance of that fact, is that Mr. George and I have agreed that we as residents and the people that have been involved in placing these citizens' petitions on the warrant article are going to have an opportunity to be on the agenda with the planning board in the August meeting. And I don't care if it's just me or it's just you, or both of us usually go, but we need other residents to come and make the pitch. And this is after the fact that has been defeated. But that's okay. At least it's on the table.
Yeah.
And we need to address the density, the congestion, the parking, and all of the issues that have been creeping up from the recent developments.
I mean, there was a big outcry from the Pine Street folks, you know, and we tried to help them out and work with them. We went to their meetings and stuff. But, you know, I haven't heard any more about the Pine Street development at all. And I haven't heard much from the Pine Street folks. And but again, it's there's just so many things going on. I can't keep track. And you know, just on a personal note, Mark, I'm losing me mojo. You know, do I care about this stuff anymore?
I've been
I'm
asked.
trying to, like, the torch has got to be passed to the next generation. The next generation is going to have to wake up and smell the tyranny. Tyranny never sleeps. They're doing all this stupidity, and they're just railroading our freedoms right over the cliff to oblivion. And so I'm just telling you, next generations, you're going to have to wake up. I woke up when I was 40, and I just, what the heck's going on here? Yeah. So I've been banging my head against the wall for the last 40, how much?
Well,
so 30 years, 35 years maybe. Okay, give or take. Yeah, you can do the math. So I'm trying to hand off the torch. We gotta train the next generation. I got a couple of youngins. Yeah, everybody needs. You know, everybody wants. You know, when you finally have that epiphany, that red pill moment they call it, that you go, oh, I've been wrong all along. In fact, you know, because they never listen. I mean, a lot of people have been leaving the Democratic Party because they're going, this is what we're really doing. So we have to, at some point in time, we got to put our big boy and girl pants on and say, what's right, what's wrong, and what the heck are we doing here, people? okay? And most of it is not what we should be doing. We're going down the wrong road. We're gonna have to put the brakes on, just like the Titanic should have done. They should have, they should have just hit it head on and stopped and backed off, as opposed to just keep full steam ahead. You can't, no, you gotta stop, you gotta stop it.
They are only going to learn this after they realize how much taxes they pay for the services that we get.
It may be too late, it may be too late.
No, it's never too late.
Well,
The thing is that we have to wake up and smell the roses. So, but
Okay.
let's move on. Zoning issues will be discussed. Like I said, I have an agreement with Mr. George that he's going to bring this up at next week's meeting as a addendum to the introduction. And what we'll do is we'll orchestrate a presentation to the planning board in regards to what the issues are that drove us
Right.
to get these citizens petitions into action. But now we need some receptors from the planning board to understand why this is happening.
Every year, the planning board, that's their whole job. From after town meeting till the next town meeting, they're reading the bylaws, they're trying to figure out what they need to update, what they're gonna change, and what they're gonna do. So all you gotta do is advertise it and try to remind the people, we're talking about zoning now. If you got zoning issues, this is where you need to bring them. Come on down.
Right.
There's only so many times you can ring the bell, and the apathy is pathetic. But until it gets, what do they call it? NIMBY, not in my backyard. But a couple of, like last century, they had the YIMBYs. Yes, in my backyard. There's
Yeah. Well, speaking of that, Jim, on on the 17th of July, which was yesterday, last night, we had a very interesting listening session by Jill Cahill,
Yeah.
our new town manager.
We did.
The one thing that let me go first on the positive things. There was over 70 people that I counted that came into this room at Endicott Park, and I think that's the Carriage
Carriage House is conference room.
conference room. Very nice facility.
Very nice.
It looks like a horse barn, but that's what it was.
That's what it is.
And it is. And the thing is that it could have housed twice as many people, because what Jill Cahill did was have a round table around the room, and everybody had an opportunity to see everybody else. I had a camera view right there on Jill and the town employees that was there to support her. And it was very interesting because, and I'll speak for myself, I expected the Board of Selectmen to do this because we used to do this in the past. But this current board does not want to hear from the residents. They even limit your time at their selectmen's meeting.
Well, it's funny you say that, because I was sitting beside someone, and I've met her at some other meetings. I don't really know her, but she said, a lot of the things people are bringing up are all the things that were on the survey that Danvers took back in whenever it was. When they took, I said, you can still find that? You can find, yeah. I said, I thought they buried that so deep they'd never see it again, because, everything that the citizens wanted, they're not listening to, they're not listening. She said, yeah, I know, it's pretty bad. And so, they don't, but I will say that I think the intent of this was just for Jill, the new town manager, to meet some of the residents and find out, just get the flavor of what the town's about, what people are concerned about, and just to learn what areas and what spots and amenities that people care about.
Well, last night, it was supposed to be primarily on recreation,
River.
open space, river committee,
Yeah.
the issues that are relating to the outside of our environment. However, the first thing that came off was the garbage strike. The Republic got ripped apart. But you know what? The fault of this whole walkout
Yeah.
is the towns that have contributed to arriving at these contracts, and they did not look into the future of what the costs will be. Because Republic doesn't care. They're just going to jack up the price because the
Union?
Teamsters Union,
Mm-hmm.
Teamsters Union is tough.
Just
And
ask Jimmy Hoffa.
that's right. We just ask them. Oh, God. I'm telling you, this is, well, just for the sake of our sanity,
Mm-hmm.
I went to the meeting. I wasn't going to go because it wasn't interesting to me. But I'm glad I did because finally I got to know who Jill Cahill is. She gave an explanation of her past, of her family life, and that she has got 2 kids, and that's important to our people. And the thing is, when she was being hired, I don't know if anybody ever mentioned that. I have an explanation here of Jill Cahill being one of the candidates, and she is now on this paperwork. Jill Cahill selected as Community Development Director for the city of Gloucester. I was going to say Beverly. Same Cahill. I didn't dare ask the question. Here's
You don't
another.
want to die on that hill, no.
But she was very accommodating, and she had the stick out for control of the meeting. So, congratulations, Jill. You need a big yardstick because it got hot there for a while.
Well, there was only one which I thought was pretty funny, and I talked to that woman after. But at any rate, but I just want just for the overall picture. I mean, I usually when I go to meetings, I kind of doodle, take notes, and one of the things I usually do is just keep track of time. And I said to myself, okay, she's going to introduce her team and blah blah blah. So how much time of this 2 hours are we going to waste listening to the blah that we already know, right? But actually, by the time Jill got done introducing herself, to telling her little story, and giving some history and background, and introducing the team, it was 5:09, 9 minutes, and then she said, okay, let's take the questions.
Yeah.
So
No.
it was quick. It was only 10 minutes worth of the perfunctory.
And there were some interesting questions that came up too. And the thing is that in the beginning, the Republic contract became very evident that people were concerned. But the thing is, Danvers has not done anything to remedy the contract right now because they can't. It's a business decision that Republic made, and they walked out on them. They offered them a certain amount of compensation. They didn't want it. Teamsters are tougher than
Well, I'm sorry, but I mean, trash is trash. I mean, we've been talking about the trash, and it's never it went up millions of dollars, right? And now
Yeah.
all of a sudden they still don't have enough money. What? And you say they didn't look into the future? Heck, they just robbed our future. Now they're going to want more. But what I thought was interesting was the whole discussion about, whatever you take in, take out. I'm there. Are you kidding me? People can't take care of their own trash. Whenever I go anywhere, of course I was in the military, we used to field strip the cigarettes, and you don't even, you never, they shouldn't know you were ever there. You leave the place better than when you left, than when you got there. One of the guys who's a volunteer for the rail trail was going around picking up all the crap that people left there and some guy with a dog said, "Oh, here, you want to take my doggy's poop?" And he's like, "What?" I said, you know, and but then Jill Cahill, when we were talking about the pollution in the river, right?
Yeah.
And people were complaining about, oh, the boaters, it's the boaters that are doing this and that. And then Jill said, well, yeah, you got boaters that are like the dog people. Leave their dog poop all over.
Well, speaking of the pollution in the river, I don't know if everybody knows, but Crease and Cook,
Yeah,
it's a Superfund site
that's right.
that's funded by the federal government.
Right.
It's around $40 million is ongoing right now in our own backyard.
Right.
You go down to the BJ's parking lot and look over the side. There's their trailers. There's all of the decontaminated dirt. They're building roads. And the one problem that I have, and I've raised this issue, is that dirt is not being removed. It is being piled up in a pile with 2 feet of capping material, which probably end up to be soot material from the power plants, and they will cap it like that and leave it there forever. That is not what a Superfund is all about.
Yeah. Well, actually, the guy at the meeting, I can't remember his name, but he said he's on the river committee, and he was talking about that we need to monitor what's going on over there and get some kind of baseline pollution levels in the river, because they're capping, they're taking all that pollution and they're going to dump it in a big hole as close as they can to 128 back there.
It's not a hole, it's a mound.
Well, yeah, and then they're going to, it's all, so is that going to start seeping out? Yeah, they're going to put, I know, they have all the engineering, there's going to be layers and this and that, and it's never going to come out. But he said, which was a good point, we need to get a baseline of what the pollution levels are, or whatever metrics they use to test the water now, and then when they're done, and then 2 years after they're gone, or a year after they're gone, to see what the heck is going on.
5 years.
Because, you know, the pollution in that river, I mean, Danvers has gone the wrong way, as far as I'm concerned. I think I said this at the meeting when I brought up Sandy Beach. I said, back when I was a kid, I suppose I should have mentioned the fact that, yeah, we used to just swim off the Liberty Street Bridge, and people used to swim off the water. Everybody just jumped in the river wherever the heck they could get access. And all the mothers and kids went to Sandy Beach. But you know, the river was very active and people used it. And now, you know, and then I said, at the same time, the Boston Harbor and the Charles River were polluted beyond recognition. You couldn't even walk near it. It stunk so bad. Now you can swim in there. It's beautiful. And now the Danvers River we've gone the wrong way. We used to be able to swim, and now we can't. It's like, what's wrong with this picture? And he said, well, it's not that easy to find it. Yeah. We have this is Massachusetts. We got MIT. We got WPI. We got the best of the engineers and everybody else. Yeah, we can find where it's coming from. You just run tests. Heck, you can get the Essex Tech kids down there. They have ecological. Get them in. Let's go running some tests. Let's start testing this thing and find out where it's going. It's very simple to find out. You test high tide. Test it right before the yacht club, and then test it way after the yacht club, and then when the tide goes out, then you run it the same test again and see what the results are. Yeah, which way is it going? In or out? Out or in or out?
All right.
Okay.
So now that we got through the pollution, we have so much pollution that it's getting deep in here. So what we're going to do is, I just have a suggestion to our audience. Is I did go and film that meeting, which was hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes, and I will prepare an introduction to that and send it off next week for your consumption. because I think it'll be interesting to see what the next meeting will bring, because people will see that they shouldn't be frightened to speak up and say their piece, because nobody's going to bite their head off. This is our town, and we need to be able to say and lead us to the right culture that we have in our town. The one thing that, and I will say it again, I was very surprised that Jill Cahill took it upon herself to do this roundtable discussion as a listening circle, because this is something that the Board of Selectmen should be doing on a quarterly basis, or at least twice a year, to understand what people really want or what people need. They are always running on the platform that we are such good listeners to our community, and then when they get elected, they disappear and they don't do a damn thing. So that's a challenge to our selectmen. But the town manager, Jill Cahill, she is our newest employee that we acquired or appointed, and must come with on-the-job training. That's what she's doing by this listening circle. She's trying to learn what our community is all about and how we feel about our community. We have lost a lot of the culture in this town over the last 50 years, let's say. 40 to 50 years. This is not the same town as it used to be.
No.
So, now, the next item, and we are running out of time, and look at this. We were supposed to be over the limit, right?
Yeah.
We are going to be over the limit. Town charter. Town charter review and the town manager review has been,
Limping along.
well, it's semi-concluded.
Yep.
I have received a copy of the preliminary report that is going to be submitted, and I don't think it's ready, but that's my thoughts. And I have expressed those in the past on my understanding. The one thing that I noticed from this review is that they were, even the committee that was reviewing this, stepped back from the fact that should we be a city or should we remain to be a town, and whether we should have a stronger Board of Selectmen that give direction to the town manager. Our board is very weak, and our town manager act is very strong, and it only takes a strong individual to take control of what our town is all about. And she is not an elected official by the town. She is a hired gun. So we'll see how this thing works, but we need to understand where she's coming from. So thank you for coming to the meeting last night, and I will issue that next week. The next item that I want to talk about, because we're out of time, and we'll get into more detail about this town charter review, because that is an important factor for our community.
Well, they wrapped it up, and did they hand it off to the selectmen or
No,
the moderator
not
or
yet,
someone?
not
So I
yet.
mean, because I know like in January, February, and even March, they were like having meetings every other week, and they were just putting on. I watched some of it, and it's like they kind of get wrapped around the axle about what people are going to think. It's like, you never worry about what people are going to think. All you do is just do what's right, and then let the chips fall where they may. See, that's the problem. People want to, well, we don't know. We do what we think is right, and then let's have the discussion.
Well,
You can't beat around the bush.
what
Kevin
has
Hodge.
what has happened, what I know, is that this preliminary report is part of the minutes of the May 14th meeting. That has been recorded on the internet. I don't think it's been submitted to the Board of Selectmen because I don't think it's ready, but that's my own opinion. And the thing is that there are certain things that the Board of Selectmen are not going to like, and certain things they're going to want to include in there. But it all depends how strong the Board of Selectmen wants to be. So, we'll be
Nothing's set
watching.
in concrete. That can be changed. No
That's
matter what is
right.
in there, it can be changed by, well, it's out of the committee's hands now. The selectmen own this, right? Or does the moderator
No,
own it?
the
Who owns it?
committee still owns it.
Ah,
Because all it is part of the minutes of the May 14th meeting, and it's a preliminary report. Now, that will probably have to go back to Sally and her organization to formalize that report because it has not been submitted. It's on the internet, it's on the website if you want to take a look at it. I've got a copy of it and I've read it. It's 54 pages. So the one thing that I have been always concerned about is that if we're reviewing a document such as the Town Charter and Town Manager Act, it should be thorough because the alphabet and the capitalization don't really matter. What is the meat of that review?
well, it's not even that. Because I just went through, I had to update the bylaws at the church.
Yeah.
So we did a bylaw review. Took us a year and a half. But, I just submitted, this is what we came up with. These are the new bylaws.
That's how
That's
it should be.
Yeah, this is it. These are the bylaws.
And then you vote on it,
then
whether
vote
you
'em up
accept it or
down.
not.
Or
Right.
if you want to change something, yeah, you change whatever you want. Whatever
That's
you,
right.
Yeah.
So, my last subject for today is Tony Betancourt's corner, and this I don't think you have it.
Yep. I got mine. No, yeah. Just keep talking.
Well,
Tony Betancourt's corner. Select board resolution.
that's
Evolution of the document. Current version versus the comments from the board. And let's hurry up and wait for nothing to happen.
That's exactly what's happening. So you hit it right on the head. The thing is that the airport commissioners, Seth Moulton's office, Sally's office, what's her name, Lovely's office, haven't responded.
Yeah. I like the way this is. Whereas Danvers has been screaming and crying about all these issues we have with the Beverly Airport, therefore be it resolved that, I'm sorry, we can't hear you.
Well, the thing is, what I want to bring up is that we are on the path of expansion of the Beverly Airport, and it's twofold. One is the building, the facilities.
Yep.
The hangar that they're planning on building is 300 feet long, 135 feet wide, and 47 feet high. Now, I know that the trees are high over there, but it's going to be over the tree line. The thing is, the only reason that hangar is being built is to store private jets, commercial, for the business jets. And why are we becoming a jet port in this community? We already have issues with the noise, with the pollution, with the aggravation that communities are having.
No one's even talking about the safety and the pollution.
Well,
The pollution. I mean, there's pollution on the rivers, pollution on the
Right.
on the rail trails. It's and pollution in the air, right? I mean, wasn't that the big thing in the 60s and 70s?
Yep.
Acid rain, but it's still raining at the airport because all that jet fuel, when they burn it,
well,
it's coming down.
It's not just acid; it's lead,
Well,
which is an acid. So, what I wanted to do is Tony Betancourt was not able to attend today, but he has been consistent in his questions in regard to the expansion. And the commissioners and Beverly Mayor and the whole Beverly side of this community do not understand or want to understand what is going on to our neighbors. I sat at a 4th of July function, and guess what? I'm sitting there, and we're right behind the football field at the high school. And boy, oh boy, here comes a jet that just taking off from Beverly Airport right over the high school. Now, how many accidents have we had in this country in the last few months?
yeah.
People got killed, and people have perished in the accident, but they have been away from congested areas because the pilots know when they're going down, they don't want to hit a residential area or a residential building. So what we have to do is, right now, what I understand is that the contractor for the hangar has filed for a building permit because it's going to be built on the Danvers side, the west side of the airport. And the thing is, we need to put some pressure on our hired inspector and the fire department on making sure that this thing is safe or totally eliminated, because this is the first step in the course of expansion.
Yeah, and the process kills everyone because people get up and ask and bring up issues and things, and what's the response? Well, that's not our purview. You'll have to go to another meeting. That's not our purview. Well, whose purview is it?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's like, let's be real. Oh, it's the federal aviation. We have to pass a new law. It's got to go through the state. We can't just. We just can't.
We need to have some assistance from our legislators, because I have a letter here, Governor Healy, environmentalist, top Healy environmental leader calls for reform at Massport and the regional airports. And this letter sounds great, but they're not doing a damn thing about it. People of Danvers, Massachusetts, in order to ensure our community remains focused on resident well-being, quality of life, and individual as well as environmental health, do hereby propose the following considerations be made with regard to the operation of Beverly Airport. This list of environmental questions has been placed before the airport commissioners for the last 12 months. Not even a response, not even an acknowledgement.
No.
So, what we need to do is we need to, Ben, if you can throw up the last clip, and it is coming soon, Beverly Airport to Nantucket flights. That's what we're becoming. We're becoming a commercial airport for the private industry of privately owned jets, and they're infringing on our environment. So, Jim, thank you very much for coming today. I appreciate
Thanks
it,
a lot.
and hopefully we can do this again, but we need to get this on the table. Good night, Danvers. Good afternoon, Danvers. Good morning, Danvers.
and try to get to one of those meet the new town manager meetings. Go to the town website, check it out. Lots of information there. You gotta get involved. You gotta make it happen. You know, we can't drive you there, but you know, you gotta.
Yes,
take
we
the
can.
initiative.
If we get a bus, we can do it.
Call the Uber.